Hello. I said I'd be back to do a review on Lethal Justice by Fern Michaels. And I come to realize that it's not easy to do a review on a book, on a series that you love, because you tend to give away a lot of the plots. So I'm striving hard not to do that today. For those that may not be familiar with the series, the first in the series is Weekend Warriors. And basically that gives you a general idea where the finances come from, why the group was started, and so forth and so on. So that would be my suggestion, is to, if you're interested in this series, is to start with Weekend Warriors. This is not a series that you can just jump right in. You really need to start with the first book. I'm going to try to give a little bit of an outline about how the Sisterhood came about. I would say the matriarch of the group is Myra. Basically, she lost her daughter. I won't say how, but her daughter was best friends with Nikki Quinn. And when Nikki lost her parents, Myra adopted her, legally adopted her, but she was best friends with Barbara anyway. So, you know, they end up being real sisters instead of pretend sisters. And, let's see. So as it goes, they grow up, they get a law firm together, and then tragedy strikes. With this in mind, Myra goes into a deep depression. And it lasted for, I don't know, maybe a year. And one day she comes up with the idea that there are other women like herself that the law disappointed, let them down when they sought the law first. And so she comes up with the idea that her and these women should join forces and that they would be able to help one another in some kind of way. And so she talks to Nikki about it, and Nikki tells her that she have 5 women that she really wanted to help. And if their cases fell apart, and she was unable to help them. So Myra asks for the women's name and whatnot, and they have a meeting at Myra's estate, which is in Virginia. And because it takes place, the series takes place between Virginia and Washington, D.C. However, they fly all over the world in Myra's private jet. So, let's see. And then there's Charles Emery, who's Myra's beau, ex-MI6. I love this man. He puts me in the mind of the series, the guy from the series Burn Notice, Michael Weston. I don't think it's anything Charles can't do when he puts his mind to it. And if it's a needful and necessary thing for the girls to accomplish their vindications. Each book, from I would say the first 7 books, are dedicated to each of the 7 women being vindicated. This book here, Lethal Justice, is dedicated to Sarah. I think her real name was Sarah Witter, and she goes by Alexis Thorne now. But she was a security broker, and of course, you know, some things went on, and she ended up losing her job and even going to prison, and for about a year. And so Nikki was her lawyer, and Nikki tried to help and tried to prove her innocence, and of course nothing came out of that, and so she ended up having to do time. And with her becoming part of the Sisterhood, Nikki gave her a job in a new identity before she became part of the Sisterhood, but she always felt like she wanted to do more. So her becoming part of the sisterhood was in her way doing more for her. Anyway, in Lethal Justice, which is the 6th book, Alexis has her day with Lady Justice. She is vindicated. Let's see. She's restored financially. Myra sees to that. She has money. Myra gives her money for a house, and I think she helps her to secure a job at a brokerage firm. There's quite a bit of things that take place in between the story of her being vindicated. I was this is not one of my favorites because I was kind of disappointed how the book kind of drifted a little bit when it came to what it was actually supposed to be about, in my opinion. They started getting into other things. There are a lot of people that don't like well, I can't say a lot. There's a few people that don't like what they do. I mean, and I guess that's to be so when you're taking the law into your own hands. So, so it kind of disappointed me in that respect. All the other, my favorites out of the other ones are, I would say book 2, I think it's Payback, and then book 4, and I'm not sure what that's called, book 4 would be The Juror. And, let's see, I'm trying not to leave out anything. Let's see, without spoiling everything. Let's see. Did I like the story? Would I read it again? Yes, I would read it again. And yes, I liked it. It's not one of my favorites, as I said. Is there anything, and I wrote this down for myself so I wouldn't forget it. Is there anything that I didn't like about the book? Well, I already said one of the things that I didn't like. The other thing I didn't like was that, let's see, Alexis, after they had outlined what it was, she was the one that chose what it was that she wanted to see happen to her enemies for what they had did to her. But in turn, at the last minute, she decides that that wasn't personal enough and that she wanted to add some more personal touches to it. Well, what she came up with, in my opinion, was kind of stupid. And it was also dangerous. I felt like that it could possibly come back to bite her in the end. And so I just, that was part I didn't like. But I'm trying to see, because I don't want to say too much, but then I don't want to say too little either. I want whoever is going to see this video to really want to get into the series because it's an excellent series and I need somebody to talk to about it online. And let's see, I started reading this series last summer. I think I may have said that. And God, I mean, it's just such a great series. I was just reading those books so fast. And in between my other reads, I couldn't believe how many of the books I had read. Probably like 4 books in like 2 weeks. In between the other things I read. So I did a lot of reading last summer. But, so anyway, pick up the book. Lethal Justice, Fern Michaels. And that's old news. Now I want to get into what I'm reading now. And what I'm reading now is Riding a Bus with My Sister, A True Life Journey by Rachel Simon. In this book, it just was laid on my heart. Seemed like one morning I just woke up and I was just thinking about, I guess, the movie. And it was like, you got the book. You should just read the book as well. Because I love the movie. I watch it at least probably a couple of times a year. Rosie O'Donnell stars in it as the mentally challenged sister. Because it's a book about 2 sisters. And one of them is a writer. Although in the movie she looks more like she's into photography or something. But in reality she is a writer. And it's a book that I think it just brings you full circle with life, what's important. So I just think it's a good book. I just started it yesterday, so we'll see, and hopefully I'll be able to come back and do my book review on that. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'm going to say ciao for now.